Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well and staying safe during this time. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Like I said, thank you so much for checking me out. If you haven't done so, please make sure to hit that subscribe button just right below the video. Cool, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And if you're returning, welcome back. Thanks again for your support. I truly do appreciate having you here.
And did you guys see this from XRP Crypto Wolf? Why did they say nobody said this would be fun? This is from Bloomberg Opinions on Twitter, an article that they tweeted out about inflation. Inflation stings most if you earn less than $300,000. Now raise your hand, everybody in the comment section, who makes less than $300,000? And are you worried? And then they give some lame-ass suggestions like take the bus, don't buy in bulk, try lentils instead of meat. And then finally, nobody said this would be fun. I thought this was a joke at first, but no, I found it here from Bloomberg Opinions at BO Opinion here on Twitter. So it's real, and I will link this in the description if you guys care to read the article. I mean, it really does sound like they are getting people prepared, and I think that, you know, this $300,000 amount, I think this is, I think personally they're posting it for shock value, just to get clicks on the article. Because, let's face it, most of us do not make over $300,000 a year. But anyway, just to this point here, it sounds as though they're priming us for the Great Reset, getting us ready to accept the fact that we might have to take the bus, we might have to eat lentils instead of meat. And, you know, that we're all in this together, essentially. Nobody said this would be fun. So then I saw this, guys, from David Morgan. Is this true? The dollar collapse is a deliberate plan to force the masses into a digital dollar control grid. Now, this article was posted here from the Miami Standard. 100 plus nations have a global agreement now being deployed called Project Sandman to drop and end dominance of the US dollar and the petrodollar. If this is true, this sounds like a covert operation, and it sounds kind of scary. Listen to this. Project Sandman describes a 100 plus nation agreement. When triggered, will see those nations simultaneously dump the dollar and abandon the petrodollar status that has allowed the U.S. to enjoy 50 years of fiat currency counterfeiting and material abundance at the expense of everyone else. When this decision is triggered, the dollar and all dollar-dominated assets will plunge to near zero, literally overnight. And so what does that mean, guys? If you have your money in fiat, you better diversify. This means all dollar-denominated bank accounts, bonds, pension funds, treasuries, and other investment vehicles will essentially be worth zero for the simple reason that all banks and markets will freeze operations. This is a Jim Rickards ICE 9 scenario. So if you guys follow Jim Rickards, you might be familiar with some of this stuff. And so they go on to say, you know, doom and gloom, credit cards will stop functioning, food stamp systems will go down, ATMs will not function, so on and so forth. Essentially a liquidity crisis. This scenario has been engineered for a deliberate collapse of the dollar fiat currency and an attempted forcing of everyone into digital dollar system run by the banksters. In the midst of the panic, people will be promised a UBI or Universal Basic Income and food credits, but only if they used an approved digital wallet system that will be run by the same criminals who spent the last 50 years looting the value of the dollar. And so what they're talking about here is essentially a CBDC or central bank digital currency alternative. So I'm interested to look into this more. Project Sandman, it does sound like a very probable situation. Considering many countries around the world for the last 50 years, as they're mentioning here, have been forced on the US dollar for oil purchasing, trading, so on and so forth. And on the heels of that, we're also seeing this, guys, from Michael at Val5 Links. A call to make the digital ruble a reserve currency has been issued by the State Duma, the lower house of Russia's parliament. So as if Project Sandman wasn't enough, here's what we have coming out of Russia. In the face of mounting Western penalties, officials in Moscow have been mulling over ways to circumvent restrictions that have already limited Russia's access to its foreign reserves and the global financial market. Sergei Mironov, who leads the opposition, a Just Russia faction of Duma, urged the federal government, the central bank, and the operational headquarters on countering sanctions to introduce the digital ruble. Russia media and Fork Log reported. And so what does that mean? The high-ranking parliamentarian has been quoted as saying that the goal of the initiative is to issue a central bank digital currency for specific purposes like financing of the house and other construction projects, as well as development of production and transportation infrastructure. And so here's a quote: "The digital ruble should become a full-fledged investment and reserve currency for Russia." The deputy believes the CBDC will provide the Russian economy with needed funding without boosting inflation. The digital rubles cannot be deposited abroad or used for non-intended purposes. So this just speaking out to that fact that CBDCs will be programmable. And, in this reality that Bloomberg is kind of hinting at, if you cannot make your payments and the government is supporting you with universal basic income, well, the government now has control. They can tell you this is the way you can spend your money. You do have to buy lentils instead of meat. You do have to take the bus if you do not have enough carbon credits to drive somewhere. And I guess the question is, at the end of the day, how many people are going to accept this as reality? Also, depending on what's going to happen here with Project Sandman, what do we do? How do we hedge? Of course, Ripple and XRP, though, are going to be at the center of this new financial system. And here they talk about, it was just down here, a liquidity crisis. Banking and finance will suffer a catastrophic liquidity crisis. So in order to hedge in the meantime, guys, what I would suggest, and this is definitely not financial advice whatsoever, but what I would suggest, what I'm letting you know that I'm doing, keep money in the bank to pay your bills, but don't have a bank account loaded with tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of cash. They're already talking about freezing or being able to control cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, for payments. They really want to tamp that kind of thing down. What a lot of the economists are suggesting is to invest in hard assets, precious metals like silver, gold, and I'm not talking about gold or silver stocks. I'm talking about actual hard gold and silver. Okay, one school of thought, take your savings, put it in hard metals, because, if we do eventually see the dollar go to zero, at least you have hedged, and chances are you'll actually make even more money if you hold precious metals like gold and silver. That's one way. Of course, many of you guys already hold XRP, and since that is going to be central to a new financial system, it might take some time before the liquidity gets rolled out. It will happen after a cataclysmic crash where the dollar goes to zero. But that'll be the time, guys. That'll be the flip the switch moment where we see XRP price rise. And to that point, I just wanted to bring you guys this as well from Bubba Cugs. Here's an article from Finance Feeds. Ripple settlement may trigger XRP price to skyrocket. And this is also coming from an FX Open executive, Natalia Zakharova. This is a leading retail and institutional FX broker, okay? So just to put this into perspective, FX Open is a retail and institutional Forex broker offering online trading services via MetaTrader 4, MetaTrader 5, and Tick Trader trading platforms. It provides access to the electronic communication network to execute trades in currency pairs, precious metals, CFDs, and cryptocurrency pairs. Founded in 2003, guys, and they have over 500 employees. So a fairly big company that deals in FX trades. And here's what Zakharova says. Finance Feed has spoken to Natalia Zakharova, head of business development at FX Open, to ascertain her views on the XRP lawsuit and the potential for an upside triggered by settlement. Here's the quote. Will said, is not yet conclusive. There is definitely a sway of opinion towards the litigation against Ripple to be settled in its favor, and many leading academics from major universities have already publicly stated opinions that the lawsuit is baseless and that Ripple will win either way. So if they go to settle, it will settle in Ripple's favor. That is one possible outcome. And even if they go to trial, they are saying Ripple will essentially win it all in trial. And this is why the SEC, they're going to want to appeal. I talked about this just the other day. They're going to want to appeal, and they've even said, we are going to appeal if the judge does not rule in our favor. So as per the price of XRP, Ms. Zakharova said, there is most definitely a possibility of its value accelerating dramatically as Ripple kept building its scope and network across the globe, thus making XRP at the center of a larger economy. The digital asset not only reduces transaction fees, but is also placed as a default digital settlement currency, which can act as a mediator between all other digital transactions.
I'm your guy. I will keep you posted. I'm your advocate. I'll be back on a daily basis, usually multiple times per day, with these videos to keep you updated with everything going on. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't done so, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Feel free to share any of my videos with your friends, family, social media, or anybody who may care to listen. Thanks so much for your continued support. I'm always here for you. I want to help you through this time. So thank you so much for continuing to choose me. Enjoy your day, stay safe, and I'll catch you again probably in a couple hours. Thanks, everybody. See you later.